Hey guys, welcome to DevvourBookReviews. This video is a different type of video, different type of topic. Today I'm going to be talking about books that sort of, that are replicas of each other. And I know that in the YA world right now, there's a lot of them that are cliches. You know, the vampire love stories or the werewolf love stories. But the thing is, people are always saying, when is something unique going to come out? And the thing is, when something unique does come out, nobody really cares about it because it's the cliches that sell. And it sucks, but it's the vampire stories and the werewolf tales, all those are what sell. Dystopian love stories, those are what sell. So you know, it's hard to come out. When you have originality, you have it, you release it, more than likely it's not going to get that much exposure because, you know, everybody's just so used to all the cliches and everything. But a few books I'm going to talk about today are actually, you know, just, you know, there was one book that came out, and then another book was like it, and then another book that was like it, and it's sort of just like that's what I'm going to talk about. You guys will just get what I mean a little bit. The first book I'm going to talk about is Twilight. Now, Twilight came out, I think, in 2005, and it was written by Stephanie Meyer, and there was a really huge hype going around it, and it got really huge, and a lot of people loved it, and but before Twilight came out, in YA, because I know there was vampire novels and adults, in YA, Vampire Diaries came out, and that was Vampire Diaries. It was the first book. It was Awakening by L.J. Smith, and that came out first, and it had a love triangle in it. And to me, with my eyes, that was the first love triangle, supernatural love triangle that I had ever read about. And you know, a lot of people can say that Stephanie Meyer did not pick off of it, but you know, hers is a werewolf and a vampire falling for a girl and fighting over her, but still, it's the formula of the love triangle that carries on a lot. There's a lot of love triangles. And actually, the book that I'm reading right now, Paranormalcy, there's two guys that are trying to win this girl's heart. So, you know, a love triangle just keeps going. And you know, that's what I mean by that. And then there's the My Blood Approves by Amanda Hocking. And a lot of people were comparing it a lot to Twilight, even so that they were making their reviews almost 3 pages long and talking about how it's Twilight but flipped upside down. So, you know what I mean? Like, everything is sort of a copycat of something. Even if the author didn't mean to do it, it's still somewhat, you know, copycat. And then there's still books out there that are like complete replicas of themselves, and the authors may have not even known that. But it's also I'm going to get to right now. Right now I have Blood and Chocolate. It is by Annette Curtis Klaus, I think. And this book came out in 1997, I think. Yeah. And it's a werewolf, it's a YA werewolf story. It's about a girl who is getting ready to become like a leader with a guy. There's a guy, he's the leader of the pack, and she has to mate with him, and she has to be with him. She doesn't want to. She just falls for this human guy, and all of this stuff happens. And then this book came out about, I think, a year ago, called Nightshade by Andrea Kremer. And Nightshade, to me, is blood and chocolate because in Nightshade she has to be with the leader of the pack, and she falls with this human guy. It's the exact same formula, exact same sort of storyline as Blood and Chocolate. Now the author may have not known she was doing this. She may have been a story in her head. Maybe she didn't think about it, but it's Blood and Chocolate. And a lot of people can sit there and be like, no, it's not. It is, because you have to read Blood and Chocolate and you'll get what I mean, and then read Nightshade. They're very, very similar. Almost too much to the point where when I read Nightshade, I didn't want to read it anymore. I read about 20 pages of it and I threw that crap on the bed and I was like, this is Blood and Chocolate. And so, you know what I mean? How they sort of just like, the cliches keep going, and a lot of times the authors don't know that they're copying something else. I mean, me as an author, I do research. I do a lot of research to make sure that nobody's got what I got. So, if I were them, if I were a big time author, I would do a lot of research to make sure that I'm not copying anybody, or even just a little bit, And then I want to talk about The Iron King by Julie Kagawa. Now there's The Iron King, and then there is Switched by Amanda Hocking. The Iron King has a girl with a friend who starts becoming protective of her, and then she goes to this fairyland or whatever to save her little brother. Then, on Switched by Amanda Hocking, it's a girl who finds out she's a troll, but she has a best friend that's a guy who's strangely protective of her. And then she has to go to this troll world or whatever. Do you get what I mean? Do you see it? Like, it's crazy. And then there's Bitter Frost by Kaylin Gao. It's about a girl who is something with fairies, and she could start seeing fairies, and her best friend, who's a guy, gets strangely protective of her. Do you see what I mean? Do you know how this is just, I don't know, to me it's just crazy. Like, I feel like I had to talk about it because, yeah, you know what I mean? Wow. So, my advice is to be original. Try your best to be original. And you can be original and still play with the cliches. With me when I did A Girl's Guide to Falling in Love with a Zombie, there was a crap load of zombie books still right now coming out, and they were all with an actual zombie being in love with somebody, when in truth zombies don't have they're dead. They don't think. Their brains are done, you know what I mean? And they don't love. So I took that cliche that was out with zombies, switched it around, and did something cool with it. So you can be original and still play with the cliches, just to make sure that your book gets out there and known. And then there's also the angel novels that are coming out. A lot of ones that are dealing with fallen angels and all this. I just wanted to talk about it, these books that are very similar. When books start to become replicas of others and don't even realize it, and yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. I know this video is probably forever, but I just wanted to talk about it. I felt like it needed to be talked about. See you guys next time with another video. Peace out.